Hi there, welcome to Beekeeping in Paradise, Episode 1. I'm Brent and I'm going to be your host. This is my yard. This is where I live here in Northwest Indiana, about an hour and 10 outside of downtown Chicago, over that way somewhere. And want to give you a little bit of background information. The reason I'm doing this is not because I think I'm a better beekeeper than anybody else. Not because I think I have any new information to share. The entire reason for me doing this is for your entertainment. I want to show you and take you on a little bit of a journey. It's going to be my journey. And this journey is going to hopefully take us to some very interesting locations. And it is going to be centered around beekeeping. And I think I am a pretty average run-of-the-mill guy, Midwesterner, works an office job, doesn't really like it, wants to do something outside, wants to make his own living and be his own boss. And beekeeping is kind of a family business, family hobby. Men in my family have been beekeeping for probably 100 years or more. And I have learned everything that I know from my dad. And even though I just started in this maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I got the bug. Literally, I got some bugs, and I got the bug. Got the fever for the bees, for beekeeping, for making honey, and it's just been all I can think about. It's all consuming. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning after the Lord, and thanking the Lord for this beautiful day, which is how I like to start off my beekeeping. When I come out into the bee yard, I always start off with a prayer, just saying thank you to the Lord for the beautiful day, for the wonderful bees, for the health of my family, and for the opportunity to get to do this in such a wonderful place and to go on this wonderful, amazing journey that I'm going to tell you all about and share with you for as long as I can do this. So hopefully you find this entertaining. Hopefully you find me a little bit interesting and not too jittery or bad at the videography. I'm very new to this. So let me just start off. I'll take you on a little bit of a tour. It's my garden over here. The weeds are doing better than the vegetables so far. House is in the background over there. Fence, yard, cul-de-sac. Typical Indiana lifestyle. There is a small lake over here. It's called a lake. It's a swamp. The whole thing's maybe 4 to 4.5 feet deep. You can't see any water. It's completely covered over with weeds. The mosquitoes love it. We do have a good number of mosquitoes here. There's way more mosquitoes than there are bees. So the swamp lake is over here. The bees are back in there, next to the lake. The reason I do that is out of sight, out of mind. I don't mind a few close friends and neighbors knowing that I have bees, but I don't want everybody in the neighborhood to know what is in my backyard. None of their business. And I don't need the hassle of having my door knocked on every time somebody gets stung by a yellow jacket and they want to blame my bees. So, once again, this is for entertainment. I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not a better beekeeper than you. I'm not a better beekeeper than anybody else on YouTube. And I just want to share what I'm going to be doing. I hope you found me interesting. I hope you find what I'm doing interesting. If you love bees as much as I do, or if you're just getting into it, or if you're just into travel and interesting places and interesting situations, then I'd suggest following along. I hope you do. I really do hope you follow along and subscribe to the channel and watch more often, because this could get wild. This really could get exciting. So let me turn the camera around. Got my smoker going. Now let's take a look at what we've got here. Okay, this is hive number 1, and we have another little one here, and off in the distance over there are 2 more. This one, I wasn't expecting to have bees this year, but this is the one that I started with. It was in a 5-frame configuration. It started as a swarm last year, and I took 5-frame boxes, stacked them up, stacked them up, stacked them up until it got to be 6 5-frame nuke boxes, all mediums, 6 medium 5-frame boxes high. And then they did something really unusual. They survived the winter. They only had 1 varroa mite treatment last year. I used Formic Pro, and they survived. So they put away about 60 pounds of goldenrod and purple aster honey last year, which was absolutely fantastic. I left it all for them except for two frames that I took for myself. And so they went into the winter with quite a bit of food, came out of winter with still a lot of food. I was shocked and surprised. But it did not take very long before they started making swarm cells. And as I noticed that they had swarm cells, I decided to make some splits. Because these bees got mean. All of a sudden, one day they're pussycats, and I'm going in there barehanded, no problems. And the next thing you know, they're just grumpy. And they would come after me as soon as I popped the top off. So for the first time in my beekeeping career, I had to wear gloves to work a hive. So I put a queen cell and a frame of bees over here, and I put a queen cell and a frame or 2 of bees in both of those nuke boxes over there. And that was 3 weeks ago in the middle of May. And here we are, well, I guess that was towards the end of May, because here we are in the middle of June, and I haven't been through them in 3 weeks. And you and I are going to find out what they're like and how they're doing together. Okay, so let's get into these bees. Okay, here we are. We are at one of the split hives. This one is one of the ones that was further away in the background. Now, once again, I have not been in here for at least 3 weeks, and I do not know what to expect. What I'm hoping to find is evidence of a queen, hopefully a laying one. That would make me pretty happy. Let's see what's going on in this top box. Nothing here. Now, I did make these splits rather lean. I only put a couple of frames of bees in with 1 to 2 queen cells, and I set them off on their way and left them alone to do their own thing. Now, we have got pollen and nectar in here, and they are really packing in the pollen. Nothing so much on this side, but they have repaired a lot of this comb. This was a lot of damaged comb. Now, I hinted to it that I was, oh, we do have some, wow, we have brood. We have a laying queen. This is very good news. Oh, I'm happy about that. That is pretty stuff. Holy smokes. They made a mess. Probably should have not let them have this much time to themselves. They made some funny comb down here. It is all, this is in the second box, and it is all laid up with just a nice rim of honey and nectar around the outside. Haven't found the queen yet. This is light. This all seems to be a little bit of nectar storage and some wonky comb here. Save that. That is not going on the ground. Put this back together. Well, anyway, I am thrilled because I know I have at least one laying queen out of 4. And if that's all I have, I'll still be okay. I'll still be happy with that. You're going to see what I mean when I say they made a mess. Okay. See if I can get some of this removed. Yeah.
You still want me to go?
Yeah. Okay, so I removed some of the burr comb and brood that was up here. I'm just saving it on my bench. And going through here, I'm finding some honey stores, more brood, a nice frame of brood. This queen is doing very well for being brand new. Look at that. She's been active for quite some time. There's where she hatched out of, where she emerged. I'm very lucky that I think in this area where I live, I know there's at least one other beekeeper in the vicinity, and that adds to my drone population. And I think we have some wild bees. I have, in the years I've been doing this, I've tried making queens every year, and I have never had an issue with queens getting mated. This year I'm trying to make 3 or 4. So I think the first hive, the big one that I started with, I believe it swarmed. So I think that the queen from that colony skedaddled, and that's why my bees got so feisty so quickly. And that's all probably also why they made so many queen cells. They were abandoned. Well, over here we got some weird looking comb. I'm going to say that my frames look really ragged, and they do. But I wasn't expecting to be a beekeeper this year. Like I said, I've got a plan to travel and take up beekeeping in another country. I'm moving to an exotic location. I'm going to start trying my goal is to become a professional commercial beekeeper in a foreign land, and I'm going to take you on that journey, and hopefully we can do this together and you can follow along. It should be interesting. Like I said, I'm not trying to teach anybody anything. You can probably tell by the way I'm going that I don't have anything that I could teach anybody, but hopefully I'm entertaining, and hopefully you enjoy the far off locations that I'm going to be visiting, living, trying to set up shop. Because I know I'm not the only hobby beekeeper who would love to become a professional and make their hobby their career. It's kind of I think that's a goal of many Americans. Alright, let's take a look at this hive. We have a lot of solid, flat, level ground. See how ratty my tops look? I make all my own equipment. They do not start off looking this ratty. I try and do everything cheaply. This was shelf material that I got at Menards on sale. It's pressed particle board with a plastic laminate on it, and I knew it was a bad idea to put it outside in the rain, but the boards were almost the perfect width right off of the shelf, and because they had been dropped and had a corner broken off, they sold me 8-foot long shelf boards for about $3 a piece. Out of those 8-foot long shelf boards, I think I got 4 lids per board. And so I don't know where else you can get a lid for a nuke box for $1. And these are about 4 years old, and they still keep the rain out, and the bees don't seem to mind. So that's a win. I do make my own frames. I've already shipped close to 1,300 frames that I made in my home workshop. So those are transported, and they've arrived at my new location already. We've got a nice frame of honey on that side. Nectar on this one hasn't been cured yet. Well, oh, good news, good news. I can see something interesting. Like I said, this was also a split. This was only 1 or 2 frames of bees with a queen cell. And look what we got there. How pretty is that? That is a full sheet of brood. That is incredible. Love it. And that side too. There's barely a spot left. Look at there. Same thing. Just a nice amount of open brood, capped brood. They're repairing the wax. More over here. See, the last time I was in this, I did not see a queen. I did see a queen in that first one that we were looking at, but I did not see a queen in this box. So I had no idea what we were going to find. And there's 2 full sheets of brood, and we're still in the top box. This one's heavy. Capped, whole frame capped honey there. And this is full of eggs and nectar. So I guess they're going to get to keep this one as well. I know you won't be able to see it, but there are eggs down in there. And I'm not spending a lot of time looking for the queen. I know she's in there. The brood proves it. Whoa ho! Here we go. All nectar on the outside wall. All honey on the inside, and it is capped. So they've been busy. I could not ask for better on these first 2 boxes. Kind of a late split. We had really nasty bad weather here all during March, April. It was cold almost all the way through May. Let's go down in the bottom. I know this is a healthy hive, but I'm just a little bit curious as to what. That one didn't like it. Might have some of those mean genes in there. Down here we've got a lot of pollen, a little bit of honey. Not much going on the outside at all. And down here we've got some brood. Looks like it's been emerging out of the center. There's one emerging bee. If you can see it. Right in there. Bees trying to come out. You can antennae are just coming out. You have a lot more pollen and brood. Ooh. Hey, be nice. Well, that's number 2 from this hive. If they could get to my face, they'd really have a go at it. Oh, sure. All right, now on here we got a little bit of drone comb, mostly worker, a little bit of burr comb. Knock some of this down. Okay, I've seen enough. Put them back before they get any angrier. All right, let's go check out those last 2.